Hey folks, it's time for yet another custom lesson. This one has been requested by Stinky. Nice name. I might have been tempted to use Tesso, but I didn't. I shall leave my request here, Mr. God Gamer. Thanks, I appreciate that, but I'm definitely no God Gamer. Weapons are corruption-based, sword, and purity Splitstaff. Guardian spirits will be Genbu and Baku. Soul cores can be, I can use whatever, but I wouldn't mind if you used Ippon, and for which boss to fight, you can pick either of the bird boys, Azai or Yoshitsune, and hopefully you can tell based on the thumbnail that it is Azai. So let's get on to what I'm working with here. You can see my purity Splitstaff, key damage, life drain, active skill, and that's about it. Alright, there you go. There are the stats. Nothing too crazy. Demon Horde Katana, the same old usual. You don't really need to have the Mystic Dyad Sword. The Grace Izanagi's doesn't even match the fact that it's this corrupted base weapon, so suboptimal to say the least. But let's show you the Guardian Spirits in question and what I'm playing around with. So, Ippon, of course, I put on here. I tried to actually limit the amount of anima bonuses this time around. I didn't want to get too heavy on that because it's kind of a... It just adds a little bit more to farm, and I don't want to do that. This anima bonus on grapple is not really necessary. Especially if you use Onmyo magic, which I expect, or I anticipate that you do. When it comes to Soul Core rank, you can boost this if you want, I didn't care. Lady Osakabe makes a return. This Soul Core is ridiculous for group fights, staggering absolutely everything. So in effect, it's range Ippon and stagger everything. Yeah, it's great. Same anima cost too. You can rank this up if you want. The anima charge in the Dark Realm is handy, as is just taking less damage, period. But again, I didn't bother. The Soul Core is freaking awesome. For a quick cancel core, I went with Umi-bozu just to give us access, at least potentially, to confusion in the Dark Realm. But just having quick water is great, especially with either purity or corruption. And then we got fire with Ippon, it's pretty nice. I would say of the three, this is probably the one you'd want to boost the rank up to. The anima bonus is nice. So if you happen to include some water-based play, great, get some anima back. And then extra water damage is nice. Yokai ability Key Pulse, as usual, is the only thing I care for. And then on to Baku. This is where I had a lot of fun deciding what I wanted to work with. So when I was thinking of Soul Cores, I really was actually not so much thinking about Corruption Synergy. I was thinking more about the Guardian Spirit skill. So I thought, you know what would be silly? Slothing a target with Tsuchigumo in a big area, and then Baku's Guardian Spirit skill would basically lock them in place and almost guarantee that the target gets paralyzed. It's pretty awesome, and I definitely recommend it. You can boost the rank for this. I would say it's reasonable simply because these are great all-purpose stats. There's nothing wrong with them. If you happen to get some cool stats, which I don't think I did, then great. The anima charge is also redundant because Baku already has it. So definitely a fun one to work with, the skill. And then playing off of that, I thought, well, if I've got my target trapped in an area, you know what would be silly? Magatsu Warrior. So yeah, this is going to be absolutely bonkers for key damage and damage in general. This is probably the single core, if you had to pick just one to boost to rank 30, 100% Magatsu Warrior. These stats are amazing, especially on Phantom Spirits and Brute Spirits, as this is the case. If this was on a Feral, I wouldn't care, but also its flat damage boost, cannot go wrong with that. All I cared about, though, otherwise was Yokai ability Key Pulse, which is, again, the norm. I was lucky with Anima, but you feel free to use whatever you want on here. Last but not least, I noticed that my setup isn't necessarily the best against humans, except maybe Magatsu Warrior and the Umi-bozu, so I wanted to give you a gap closer that works against things that block. So Azai does block, and Onyudo can be pretty hilarious when it does work out, but it's a bit tricky. You don't need to rank this up whatsoever. I still have yet to determine exactly how to take full advantage of this. If anyone has an idea, let me know in the comments. So yeah, that's pretty much the setup we're working with. It's definitely quite interesting. But let's get on to Yokai Shift. When it comes to Yokai Shift, things can get quite interesting. So let's just start off with the grapple. I'm going to try to use Ippon to break his good old horn thing. Oh my god, stop dodging. Ippon, do your magic. Thank you. So it's definitely pretty fun to open up, like, with the juggle. If you can do it, great. But honestly, think of just the aspect of really just inflicting water on the target. You have crazy range, courtesy of Osakabe. Teleport straight in, Ippon. You got so much stagger. Genbu staggers, Osakabe staggers, Ippon staggers, and then if you just need a quick source of anima, or sorry, Amrita to charge up, you're in good shape. But yeah, definitely have fun with this. And just like non-stop stagger, it's pretty fun. Wait, where'd that Ippon go? There we go, that was weird. And then as for Baku, let me show you the silliness in action. I found this to be quite fun. Oh my god, that's not the silliness I was talking about. Nice. It won't, the paralysis won't activate that readily. I gotta warn you. But it is pretty hilarious. When it does activate, it's just kind of comical. It's like, yeah, you're slopped and paralyzed, dude. Sucks to suck. Let's just see how many times this happens. How's it going, dude? See what I mean? So yeah, definitely a lot of fun to incorporate. Let's just kill this guy, and then in a moment I'll show you some bread and butter combos that you can do. Come on, let's kill this guy. Alright, so Yokai Shift fun time, let's show you some combos. As I said, combos are name of the game, and there's a lot you can play with. Now, Ippon is very nice when you can get the final blow, or you can hit the target, but as you saw, it missed, and that feels really bad for 7 anima. So, it honestly might be better to use things like Osakabe in a pinch, or combo with other soul cores altogether. So that's where Onyudo comes into place. It is that soul core to use when an opponent is really block heavy. As you saw, quite effective when that opponent decided to block. And if you have the anima though, you might want to just use Magatsu Warrior instead. Very powerful to use in all sorts of scenarios. Can't really go wrong with it. So yeah, that's the reason why I picked Onyudo. Feel free to switch it out if you don't really like it, but I found it to be quite handy in moments that humans are involved. Very nice. Alright, let's kill this target with relative ease. Boom. Osakabe, if she doesn't stagger, can at the very least provide you good amount of damage at range. That's something that should never be underestimated. I mean, it allows me to set things up almost flawlessly. Also, let's have some fun. Severing spin. Very nice. So yeah, that's another combo that you can do. Tsuchigumo into Severing Spin. Basically hit everything in that slothed area. It's as cool as it sounds. But one thing I do want to mention. Our weapons have conflicting elements. So my advice for how to use them well together is to basically cycle confusion. So when purity is about to evaporate, or let's say purity is about to evaporate on target, or something like that, after you inflict confusion. So here, I'll kind of show you what I'm talking about. Alright, so as you see how the confusion is being drained very slowly. Alright, so let's reapply it. Oh my god. Okay, we got fire reapplied, right? And then purity is about to evaporate. So once it does, that's when you want to apply corruption. And vice versa. That way you can get maximum uptime for confusion. If you need further details, watch my video on confusion cycling, or extend confusion on enemies. I forget what it's called exactly. But it can be really powerful. You don't necessarily want to alternate between purity and corruption back to back. I do that because I don't care about the elemental application that much. But I imagine for many other players who want to maximize their damage, this can be such an amazing tool to take advantage of. Very nice. Oh, hell no. Yeah, definitely something to mess around with. Let's see what other cool combos I can consider or conceive of. This is honestly the weapon setup that I use so much. I mean, there's a simple one. You coming? As you can see, anytime I back away, it's a pretty good time to use Osakabe. Sweet, pretty cool. So yeah, you've got a lot of weird range things to take advantage of. Even just a simple combo of Tsuchigumo into Severing Spin can make it more likely that targets get hit by that. You have access to 4 out of the 5 elements, so if you decide to use lightning magic, then you should overall be in good shape to have access to every element, which is pretty powerful. In any case, enough talk. Let's see this in a gameplay showcase. I'll see you guys in a bit. Alright, let's put this to the test in a Scroll of the Damned involving Azai, of course, but there are Flying Bolts, Oni-bees, and Onmyo mages that we're going to have to work with, and this scroll can be very frustrating, especially in trying to deal with multiple targets. I was originally trying to tackle both Oni-bees with Osakabe at once, it just didn't work, and so now I am dealing with just Flying Bolts, and it's annoying. And it really sucks when I'm slowed down. So this has gotten a little personal. So I make sure to get my Oni-bee so that I can slow her down with Sloth. Yeah, now who's slow? You're slow and you're dead. So there you go, vengeance has been achieved. But it's not over, and we've got the mages to kill right away. You do not want to get debuffed by them. So you can see I went all out using my Magatsu warrior. I'm pooling all of them together to use Osakabe to really clear at least some of the smaller enemies, which I did, and so all I've got left now after that is just a Flying Bolt. So Flying Bolt on her own really isn't too bad, just gotta be wary of certain burst attacks, but other than that she's basically a punching bag. So that coupled with purity that's been applied on her and a Splitstaff, as you can see, she's entirely helpless and dead. Very nice. And it's now time for the boss, and let's just see how it goes. So first a few attacks, alright. Let's see if I can just get some action going. I gotta worry about his wing deflect. As soon as that happens, just dodge away on instinct. Don't try to do anything else. Let's get that burst attack, very nice. And let's just make sure we can maintain a rhythm. Against Azai, it's really not too bad, aside from the block, simply because he's on the slower side. And his ki isn't necessarily the highest, which is surprising given that he's a purple enemy, which is, of course, going to work great for us. We're going to demolish him. So I'm trying to apply purity. I do, which means 50% extra ki damage will be taken. Boom, Ippon works beautifully in this situation. Now let's go into Yokai Shift, bearing in mind that I will be doing 50% extra ki damage as long as I have purity up on him. And so I'm trying to attack him as much as I can, and you can see that ki is just getting whittled away. Osakabe is doing really well here. I didn't get the burst counter, but Ippon, yeah, more than cemented the grapple potential for me anyway. I messed up transitioning into Brute, but watch Baku be hilarious. Paralyzed him while he's in the air. I wish I had enough anima for Tsuchigumo, and so that's actually what I'm aiming for while I'm basically chaining a bunch of quick draws. And now I go for Tsuchigumo. It would have been pretty cool if I'd been able to do it earlier, but honestly this boss is slothed, which just makes the fight so much easier. It's pretty ridiculous. So you can see I'm dodging for the most part. And while I do screw up from time to time, it's not too much of a big threat. He's already 50% dead. Half dead. And I've got a lot of anima to spare, so let's use Magatsu Warrior right away to get some damage. It does a good amount of ki damage. In case you weren't aware, Corruption allows the target to take 30% extra ki damage, while Purity is 50%. So in terms of ki damage, Purity is just strictly better. But yeah, no matter. Regardless, I've got access to both primary elements. Well, 2 super elements. I don't want to say they're primary. Alright, let's see what's next. Dang it, I got knocked over. And then, sweet, let's burst counter that. And Ippon doing a whopping amount of ki damage really quickly. And now we've got Purity back up. So far so good. This hasn't been that troublesome. And let's get Sloth off, and let's go for a full extended Tin Phoenix 3. And yeah, there is basically no risk to this whatsoever. Osakabe doing good work. I was going for a cool combo, but he just barely had any ki to transition into the Dark Realm. But, jokes aside, yeah, that ki's gone. Goodbye, ki. Oh! Alright, he's nearly dead. I'm not really that worried. Boom. Alright, Sweets got his ki depleted again. Like, he's just helpless, man. There's just nothing this poor bird can do in the onslaught of all this. Easy Ippon. Did I miss? Oh, come on. No way. Oh well, it don't matter. You can miss and you'll still get away with a whole bunch of stuff. And game over. Sweet. Excellent. So yeah, this setup is very powerful. So definitely take advantage of it as much as you can. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see everyone, of course, next time.